If I'm gonna do this, I'll need my news team at my side. News team! Assemble!
Breaking news. Is your pulp in danger? There has been a reported case of pulpal sclerosis. This condition is where the pulp is calcified and reduced in size. It is commonly associated with aging, but honestly isn't that interesting as it sounds unless endodontic therapy is needed. A report is just now coming in that someone has just experienced total pulpal obliteration. This also involves calcification within the pulp cavity. And it ain't pretty. The production of secondary dentin can totally obliterate the pulp chamber, which makes the teeth non-vital. Yuck. There have been numerous reports this week of pulpal stones. These dystrophic calcifications are again affecting our beloved pulp chambers and pulp canals. There are usually no symptoms or treatment and can vary in size, shape, and numbers. Now, on to weather.
Thanks for that, Emma. So, in the left region, we're seeing bright sunny amalgams up here with a healthy amount of bone. But as we move to the right, we're seeing an all-time high for this time of year. We've got some widened periodontal ligaments, and as we move into the south, we're seeing a high-pressure system in the apical region. This, unfortunately, is going to cause destruction in the area and possible loss of teeth, too. Let's go to Lou, who's talking with an expert about special periodontal radiolucencies. Thanks for that, Amanda. I'm here at a local nursing home with Grandma, an expert in periapical granulomas. Now, Grandma, what can you tell us about granulomas?
Well, granulomas appear with a widened ligament at the root apex. They can give rise to a cyst or abscess. They are usually the consequence of pulpitis, which is inflammation of the dental pulp tissue.
Thanks for that great explanation. And now back to the studio. Wow, she looks familiar. We're going to go to Vancouver College of Dental Hygiene to talk to some students about different kinds of radiolucencies and radiopacities.
Radiolucencies cannot be diagnosed on dental images alone. There needs to be a clinical exam as well. Periapical cysts are lesions that develop over a long period of time. They are typically asymptomatic and the most common tooth-related cyst. Treatment for cysts and granulomas are either endodontic therapy or extraction with a curettage of the apical region.
Periapical abscesses. They are localized areas of pus around the apex of a tooth from a dying pulp. They may or may not show up on x-rays. If they are acute, they will be painful and sensitive to percussion and heat and sometimes not seen on a film. If they are chronic, there is usually no pain associated with them and a site for drainage through the bone or periodontal ligament space and shows as a round radiolucency at the apex.
A periodontal abscess is a collection of pus that results from infection within the periodontal tissues from advanced periodontal disease and runs laterally along the root. Treatment includes drainage, subgingival scaling, and periotissue debridement. A perioabscess comes from the tissue surrounding the tooth, and a periapical abscess comes from within the tooth pulp.
Radiopacities are usually white and an overgrowth of bone or tooth structure. Chlorotic bone. It is a white lesion below the apices of vital teeth. Its cause is unknown, variable in size and shape, and there are no symptoms associated with them.
Hypercementosis is excess cementum deposition on the root due to supraeruption, inflammation, or trauma. It is typically seen on the apical area.
Condensing osteitis is a white lesion located inferior to the apex of a tooth with chronic pulpal inflammation. Most commonly affects the mandibular third molars, and it is the most common periapical radiopacity seen in adults.
We are seeing some traffic delays tonight due to luxation, the abnormal displacement of teeth. There was an intrusion on Highway 1 as a tooth crashed directly into the bone. Intrusion is the displacement of teeth into the alveolus. Extrusion is the displacement of the tooth outward from, but not completely out of the alveolus. Avulsion is the complete removal of a tooth from the alveolar bone. The avulsed tooth can be reimplanted into the tooth socket. For better healing, it should be done within 15 minutes. Milk is the most effective at preserving an avulsed tooth.
来一个电钻生苞米豆。哎呦，哎呀，我哎呀，哎呀妈呀，我操！
This week's current events, we will be focusing on internal and external resorption.
Events this week have led to internal resorption taking place in the pulp chambers, pulp canals, and surrounding dentin on many clients. We can see here there is round radiolucency in the mid-crown portion of the tooth. Extraction may be necessary.
Now moving on to our most current examples of external resorption. We can see here that the apical region of the tooth is blunted and the roots appear shorter than usual, showing us that external resorption has occurred.
You may be asking yourself the main difference between internal versus external resorption is. Internal resorption takes place within the crown or root of a tooth, and external resorption takes place along the periphery of the root surface, the apices.
Good evening and welcome to Coach's Corner. We're here tonight to talk about trauma. Let's take a look at the 4 classes of crown fractures. Class 1 involves only the enamel and in most cases can be repaired with a simple filling. A Class 2 fracture involves both the enamel and the dentin, and earlier this year, Pastor Nick did just that. He will want to get a pair of crowns for those front teeth in the future.
Maybe after he retires from the sport.
Here, Crosby suffered from a Class 3 fracture involving the enamel, dentin, and pulp. But with the root canal, post, core, and crown, he'll be back on the ice in no time. Unfortunately for Tarasenko, his complete loss of the clinical crown is a Class 4 fracture.
It's a good thing he can afford an implant.
You got that right, Bailey.
Speaking of fractures, remember Game 4 of the Stanley Cup playoffs last year?
Oh, I know where this is going.
When Chara took a lovely puck to the face and fractured his jaw on the left and the right side with pins to be placed in his jaw, hand out like a beauty and return back for Game 5.
Let's just show them a clip.
Good shot, that's blocked by Chara and he's hurt. And he's had the puck come up and looks like it hit him in the face. And the big man went down in a hurry.
A really close play at the line as Chas, and now he's getting into position. Oh, rode right up. The stick came right on the sort of tape to tape on the shooter shin. Meets it at the same time and it goes right up and hits him right in the mouth.
This is why I love the game.
Let's take a look at one side of this x-ray.
That's just filthy. Thankfully it didn't involve other kinds of fractures like crown fractures or root fractures. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Hold on. Okay.
But as we move to the right, we're seeing an, I don't know what line.
With curated. Curettage?
Yeah.
We gotta read the apical abscess comes from within the fruit.
Whatever.
For this week's current events,
You may be asking yourself what the main difference between internal versus external resorption is. Internal resorption takes place.
Really, the consequent. Oh dear. Keep going.
I don't want to do that.
Ready anytime.
Have you started filming?
Yeah.
Oh. We are seeing some extrusion. Is the displacement? I feel like it's too loud. Milk is the most effective I said.
Go. What if I pass out? Breaking news. Is your pulp in danger?
About special radio. No, not. Okay. Let's go to an expert who's. Wow. Wow.
Wow. Get it together, Lou.
I don't know if she's Lou right now.